What's up, YouTube? This video is about my recent ride to JogFalls, situated in the beautiful Shimoga district along the Western Ghats. I started around 5:30 am with Anyuran already and raring to go. For a change, I didn't carry my saddlebag. Instead, I packed a small backpack and secured it with bungee ropes to the pillion seat. I have often been asked by many wise men, why do you ride? Why take the risk? The simple answer is this: to get away from everything. When I'm riding, alone with my thoughts and the wind rushing past me, I forget all the pressure and past traumas. It feels like shutting out the external world and opening a channel to my inner self. I laugh, I sing, and even talk to myself. It's therapy on two wheels. The plan was to reach my destination, a homestay about 4 kilometers from Jog Falls, by 2:30 pm, take a quick nap, and then head out to the falls. The roads were mostly excellent, allowing me to cruise comfortably with very little traffic. Since it was a long weekend, I guess most travelers had already left the previous day. There were a few flyover construction zones, but the remaining stretches felt like a dream. On a few occasions, I even touched the 150 km/h mark. As I passed Chitradurga, the windmills appeared. The hills were dotted with them, creating a breathtaking view. I don't know what my connection is with Western Ghats. Most of my rides somehow lead me back here. Maybe it's a bond from a previous life, who knows? But one thing I can assure you, every trip to these mountains has been unforgettable. So, back to the ride. After Chitradurga, the roads became narrower and rougher, but the lush greenery made up for it. Both sides were lined with areca nut farms, coconut groves, and plantations arranged in perfect rows. Riding through them felt surreal, like passing through geometric patterns in motion. A few words about my bike. Ever since NX500 joined me, riding has gone to another level. My earlier single cylinder bikes were fun but tiring, mainly because of vibrations. But with Anyuran, it feels like gliding. Vibrations are almost absent except for a slight tremor beyond 140 km/h. The bike feels planted, stable, and always eager to move. Before the ride, I adjusted the chain slack and lubricated it. Once that's done, the buttery smoothness, the linear power delivery, and commanding view of the road made every rupee worth the investment. In some small towns, I noticed a surprising disregard for the traffic rules. Bikers rode against the traffic without a care in the world, and then either staring with anger or smiling foolishly, as if I am the one in the wrong lane. Along the way, I passed several herds of sheep, easily over 100 in each group. If one sheep 5,000 Indian rupees, that's nearly 5 lakh rupees walking down the road. Quite a sight. I reached the homestay around 1:40 pm via a dusty, unpaved road winding through the hills. The soil here is almost crimson, and most vehicles were coated in that red mud. Soon enough, my bike's wheels looked the same. After a quick lunch and short nap, I headed towards Jog Falls. Thanks to a small mishap where Google Map decided to give me a scenic tour of agricultural fields, I eventually reached the entrance. There was a lot of construction happening at Karnataka Tourism's Mayura Hotel, the only hotel near Jog. Once completed, I'm sure guests will enjoy spectacular views from their rooms. I didn't have cash with me, and the entry fee had to be paid in cash. A security guard directed me to a nearby shop where I could withdraw cash via UPI. I paid a little extra as a gesture of thanks, even though she didn't ask. At this time of year, JogFalls isn't as powerful as during monsoon. It looked more like a graceful stream with one branch, Raja, appearing almost like mist. JogFalls drops from a height of 253 meters, nearly a quarter of a kilometer. It has four distinct cascades: Raja, Rani, Roarer, and Rocket, all part of the Sharavati River. A sizable crowd had already gathered. Photographers with professional cameras walked around offering photos with falls as the backdrop, providing both digital copies and printed versions for a fee. One staff member told me that visitors were once allowed to trek down to the base, but after several accidents, the park was permanently closed. I can only imagine the sheer force of the water during peak monsoon. The pool below must be incredibly deep. And I'll have to return during monsoon to truly witness its grandeur. If it's this beautiful in winter, the full swell must be breathtaking. The thunderous roar, rising mist, and lush greenery all around. The next day, I started late, around 9 am. When leaving Bangalore, the biggest challenge is escaping traffic. On the return journey, the concern shifts to when I will hit the city outskirts and face it again. This was a much needed break, precious solo time. It reminded me why I prefer solo rides over group rides. I leave when I want, ride at my own pace, stop whenever I feel like it, and answer to no one. Group rides have their own charm, good vibes, friendship, and safety, but solo rides feel cleansing. With that, I'm signing off. Thanks for watching and have a great day.